Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Holyoke, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Kalum. And he offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Mass. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
That's right, and Canal was my first one.
Okay, and so today he'll be educating us on the Spillway for Water Street. So, what is the origin of this spillway?
The spillway, or spillways, of course, are when you have a canal that is dropping to a lower level that needs a spillway, a place where water spill to get into that lower level. It does not mean the tunnel below the mill where the turbines are going to be. So, in the beginning, they had 5 spillways, and this one needed to be built after that, because the reason is that electricity didn't exist in 1848 when they started the canal system, but they discovered that not only could you get hydromechanical work out of the fall of water through this canal system, you could also get hydroelectric energy if you placed them in places that didn't have a mill yet and that you could get a good drop of the water. So Spillway 4 is where Appleton Street goes into Water Street, and Water Street has a North Water Street and South Water Street. If you go to the very end of Appleton Street and take a left on the North Water Street, which is the inner road of the canal, and then go up about a third of a mile, you come to Spillway 4, and this is a spillway made after the fact. It was made in the year 1895 when electricity was able to be harnessed, and this was the first electrical energy station in Holyoke that was on the canal. So they constructed, it was about, the original second level canal was 3 miles long, and this one was on the eastern spin of the U, and about halfway down it. And it was a place where the second level canal stops existing because they didn't need it anymore. And they dug a tunnel below there, they put water out to spillway, and it falls down onto a spinning turbine to make hydroelectric energy. Now, also at this place, they used other kinds of power. It became the Holyoke's first power station for electricity. They had a very small coal plant off to its right side. And so you had both going, and they generated enough electricity at this point that they're able to ship some out to Chicopee. And it's still there, it's still functional. It's still a very strong source of electricity. You can actually go onto Water Street, even though it looks like a strange location to be.
So how does it still generate power?
Okay, it still can exist because the canal is still brought in and kept and maintained at a level that as if the mills were still operating. Some of the mills do operate, and they do this because the water is now used at these power stations to build electricity up. And this is the oldest one, but it's kind of obscure, far away from the others. The others are on the first level canal, where there's 2 of them. There's one on the other U shape of the second level canal going to third, and there's one big one on the first down to the second, and these very large plants dominate this medium-sized electrical plant. So it still generates, but not as much, and it might actually be important in the future if they ever want to build up canal electricity. This is a great place to build up because it's not built up to the maximum yet.
So quickly, before we continue with the rest of our interview, just to fill our listeners in, if you want to find out more information or sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. In there he has both videos of the various stops along each tour and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you're interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And they're perfect for fun and educational activities for the whole family or for your group parties, especially those special occasions and get-togethers. And they're also good just for getting outdoors for the day. So getting back to our interview, why is there a gap in the mills along the section of the canal?
They just plain out ran out of mills to put in. So you have that paper extension from the valley paper over and around. The rest of the 6 of the 7 are gone, but the valley is still there. And then after that, there used to be the gill. There was a big empty space where you could have gotten 4 more mills put in there. But they just plain out ran out of mills that wanted to go in there. And that was too bad. So they came up short of what they expected, but they got a lot more than they expected in other ways, because there was a lot more than just cotton mills. There was paper mills and silk mills and wool mills. And so sure there's a gap, and the gap's bigger because a lot of the mills have been taken down, but it still was a very powerful system.
And what does the future hold for the spillway?
What could possibly happen is the spillway could be made larger like the other spillway energy centers. The one in Boat Lock Station is enormous. The one in Holyoke Water Power Energy Center is bigger yet. There's a couple of tiny ones along the way, but this is a medium-sized one of them all. It has 4 medium-sized turbines, but it could be enlarged. There's a huge gap of mills there, and the Connecticut River is just beyond. And so if you ever want to increase the amount of electricity, this is it. Now, the reason why it might not ever be done is because out of all the sources of electricity, half a century ago, water power was number 1. So a half century later, water power is number 5. It's behind nuclear power, coal power, gas powered, and solar power. It's behind all those. It might even be someday behind wind power. So it's gotten into such low use. The reason why all it counts on is a push of water, where the other ones count upon either sunlight or the chemical breakdown of material or the physical breakdown of atoms. And thus, you're dealing with, by those standards, very low technology. So it may never happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours, and we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. You can also tune into a large selection of our other podcasts, again at his website, holyokecanaltour.org. And again, you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com.